Hey, how's it going, folks? This is MMAFilms IP. This is Dylan, joined by Alex.
What's up?
Yeah, that's right. Now we're predicting UFC on ESPN 5.
Big UFC fight night.
That's right. 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Lovely.
What?
So, yeah, that's when this
oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm actually not going to be able to watch it.
Yeah, neither am I.
Anyways.
Us working men are going to be able to watch it because it's in Newark, New Jersey.
That's right. Let's fly through this bad boy. First fight of the night, Darko
Stosic
versus Kennedy
Nezhchuwu.
Yeah.
Nezhchuwu.
I think Darko has a lot more experience. I think he can. I think he has a better chance of taking the fight where he wants to than Kennedy. I think he has a higher fight IQ. But then again, you can't doubt Kennedy's explosiveness and his knockout power.
Well, Darko did have an injury. Not UFC fight night 134. He did have a pectoral injury. So that could be something that Kennedy's looking for in this light heavyweight bout. So we'll have to look out for that. Both these fighters are coming off of a loss.
Yep, this is true. They're looking to bounce back. How will Kennedy take back his first loss? We don't know.
The African Savage.
I have to pick Darko by unanimous decision here. If Kennedy wins, it's going to be a flashy, explosive knockout.
Yes.
I don't see him dominating Darko by decision. I see Darko probably not finishing Kennedy, but I do see control. I see him managing the distance well. Even though Kennedy is a much longer reach, I think Darko is going to be able to pop in, land his shots when he needs to, and hop back out. So, let's take a look at our heat index.
This is a new system we've established.
Yes, no one else in the world has ever
maybe America's Funniest Home Videos
seen the heat index. So, I'm only wagering about 208 XP on this. I see this is like medium risk because they think there's a good chance Kennedy just lands a bomb and knocks him out.
Medium rare.
But if Darko wins, it's going to be a decision. And being the underdog on the Verdict MMA app gives him a good advantage in points. So,
very true.
If you would like to earn points, I would endorse picking Darko. Alright, next fight. Now we have Scott Holtzman versus Dong Hyun Ma. Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman.
A lot of dongs in the UFC, man.
That's right.
There's about 3 or 4.
Big dongs, too.
Big dongs.
Anyways, so Holtzman and Dong Hyun Ma have equal UFC experience, but I would argue Holtzman has fought the stiffer, tougher competition at this point in his career. He's older. He's 35. 35 is getting up there for a lightweight. That's when you're over the hump a little bit.
He starts to lose power.
But Holtzman is still fresh in the game. Not that many fights on his record. Not that many dominating losses. And Holtzman is also the unanimous betting favorite on both Verdict and in the Vegas odds.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, who the hell's heard of dong? You know what I mean? Like probably very few people remember the dongs. I'll be honest with you.
The dongs.
I mean, Scott Holtzman. That's kind of a remember. Okay, that dong I remember. Because he's a more prominent guy, but Scott Holtzman, that's like a typical American name that's easy to remember. You know what I mean? So,
people are gonna American as indicated by the American flag by his right ankle
on the left corner, bottom corner of the screen.
I edited that in. Doesn't this look nice, folks? Doesn't this look professional?
This is our new format.
It took me a lot of time on PowerPoint. I made this in Microsoft PowerPoint. Anyway.
Don't give up our techniques, man.
Scott Holtzman defeats Hyun Ma by round 3 submission? What? Why round 3 submission? Well, if you look at the picture on my Shudog article, as you can see, Scott Holtzman eyes submission win over Dong Hyun Ma. Let's read that again, folks. Scott Holtzman eyes submission win over Dong Hyun Ma. He sees it, he believes it, he understands it, he dreams it, and he's going to go out there and do it.
He predicted this fight.
And you better believe it, folks.
On that Sherdog article.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to submit him.
So I have enough faith
in
him.
Yeah, there it is.
Also, this is the most lucrative pick on the card for a submission finish.
This is the most lucrative pick in history.
Yes, seriously. If Holtzman wins by submission, we're going to be ranked number 1 on the app, believe us. So that's what I would pick. This is a very lucrative prop bet, and even if he doesn't get the sub, he's probably going to win by decision.
And if this goes sideways, and you bet your 401k on this, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
So
sue Sherdog, not us. Next fight. Now we have Gerald Meerschaert versus Trevin Giles.
I got a lot of heart behind Gerald, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trevin's not a bad fighter. It's just Gerald, I feel for him more. He's much more experienced, much longer reach. Well, not too much, but much more experienced fighter. I mean,
you cannot argue that he has much more experience, a lot more UFC experience, but I do have faith in Trevin too, who is very well rounded. However, we have not seen his submission and grappling game.
True, yeah.
In his recent fights.
Yeah.
His most recent loss is actually a sub loss to Zach Cummings. I think it was a guillotine.
Guess you could say he got cummed on.
Perhaps. But
it's a middleweight fight.
I gotta give the advantage here to Gerald, even though he is the underdog on both. Actually, he's not the underdog on verdict. He's the underdog on
verdict.
Vegas
He's
odds.
Got what does he got here? He might be.
I have it listed here. Gerald's verdict multiplier is 1.6, while Trevin is 2.6.
Oh, yep.
So, yeah. I'm going to go with Gerald here. I think he's going to pick up probably a submission win over Trevin. He's going to wear him down. He's going to find his openings. I mean, 20 submission victories. You cannot deny that level of experience against someone that doesn't even have 20 fights yet. I have to pick Gerald. I think this is a bad style matchup for Trevin, who I think UFC should be working a little bit harder to try and build up from the ground. They're kind of tossing him in there against the Lions with all the experience, and I think that that's a bad move. But Gerald by round 2 submission. Do you agree?
I do. I really do. I got a lot of heart behind Gerald, like I said.
So let's justify this prediction on the Heat Index. This is at the bottom. This is green. This is a cold pick. Because it's risky. Trevin has a good chance of pulling this off. Gerald has a good chance of not winning by sub.
Yeah, because he is much younger. He's the up and comer.
Yeah.
He's black.
And as the verdict MMA favorite, you're not going to net a lot of XP from this fight anyway. So I suggest only betting maybe 100, 200 max on this fight. Do not overcommit. Next fight. Joaquim Silva versus Nusrat Parast. Same experience, although much different age. Joaquim has 7 years. He's 30. Nusrat is only 23. Nusrat is a very popular blue chip prospect.
You were explaining that before.
Yeah.
Which I forgot
blue
already.
Blue chip means you're fresh, you're green, you haven't been tested in the waters
You're
yet.
a fresh little poopy.
I think he's going against another relative blue chip prospect. I think Nusrat gets this done. He's the betting favorite. He's the verdict MMA favorite. I think he's going to get a unanimous.
I mean, both of these guys have very minimal stats on them. They got 12 fights for both of them.
Minimal stats. I think it's going to be an exciting fight, though.
Yeah.
Implications for the 155-pound division, what the future looks like. I got to go with Nusrat. Let's take a peek at the Heat Index here. Also in the green, low risk, low reward. I don't have much faith in Joaquim winning here. I think Nusrat's going to get it done.
The Brazilians haven't been doing too well. We saw from the Ngannou versus
Dos Santos.
All the Brazilians lost.
Yeah.
Was that Except there was one. Because Anderson Silva lost.
I think this is just a little risk, little reward. Nusrat by decision. I don't see him getting the finish here.
I agree.
Hasn't finished recently. Co-main event.
This is a very, very, very attractive fight. I'm not talking about from the male aspect. I'm talking about from the matchup aspect.
I'd like to point out, Clay Guida, you bastard. Your left elbow is covering the record. So you know what we're going to do to you? That's right. How do you like that? Now you're smaller, you idiot. Tuck your elbow in next time. Anyways, both these guys, an incredible wealth of experience, incredible wealth of UFC experience. I mean, all together, They have almost 100 fights on them.
And if you combine their ages, what do they make up? It's like 70...
Yeah,
70-something?
72.
72.
If you combine their ages.
Overall, Clay Guida's got more fights than Jim Miller, but you can't let that sway you when Jim's got like 43 fights. Well, 45.
When you have that much experience, it becomes less significant. 10 fight difference isn't that big of a deal. But what I'm noticing in that, even though Jim Miller still possesses his immense skill set, he's always been a great submission specialist, he is physically winding down. While I think, although Clay Guida has always been a little bit sloppier with his striking, he's still fast-paced, still has the cardio for days, easily will have no problems making 3 rounds. Miller might fade, but I cannot deny, if you look at their recent fights, Jim Miller has only won by submission. Clay Guida has only lost by submission. I gotta think Jim Miller pulls this off round 1 submission.
I gotta say round 2 for this.
I think the fresher Miller is, the more likely he's gonna get the finish. After round 1, he might not even have a chance of winning, honestly. But I think his skill set...
I don't know, man. I think you're losing faith in Jimmy boy, man.
I think his skill set still eclipses what Guida brings to the table as far as the submission game goes. And this is not me trashing Guida, but Jim Miller's jiu-jitsu has always been kind of underestimated. So...
And I mean, Guida looks like Alexios from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. For all my gamer homies out there.
So let's take a look here. This is a medium/hot.
Medium
on
rare.
A heat index. Fighter? Yes. Method? Huh? So basically what I think is Jim Miller will probably win. Will he win by submission?
That's the question.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Probably. That's my guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of aspects that go into predictions.
That is exactly right. Now we are moving on to
the main event of the evening.
Colby Covington. Colby Chaos Covington versus Ruthless
Robbie Lawler.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Story behind this fight, of course, Covington is hunting for that title shot. Robbie Lawler and Colby Covington are former teammates at the American Top Team gym.
Colby's coming off a 6 winning streak while Lawler is on a 2 loss streak. Last one was to Ben Askren through a technical submission.
Yeah, that was a goofy fight. That was a crazy fight.
I defend Herb Dean all the way, man.
He did get pieced up. He did get... I think this fight is going to look very similar to Robbie's fight against Rafael Dos Anjos. I think that's what we're looking at. I think his fight against Rafael Dos Anjos is going to look very similar to this fight. I just repeated that sentence twice.
I didn't notice.
Colby Covington has Robbie's game downloaded. They trained together so long. While Robbie was preparing to fight for the title, and while Colby was like a relative nobody, probably wasn't even in the UFC yet. Colby, 31 years old, entering his prime. Robbie, 37, over the hill, hasn't looked great in his last couple fights.
I mean, if Colby ran through the welterweight ranks that quickly, then, dude, you got to be honest. If he's got Lawler's style downloaded, and Robbie might not have changed anything, although he has more experience, Colby's gonna know what to expect.
And here's the other thing too. You can't exactly compare sparring in the gym with a real fight,
because it's all about troubleshooting in the octagon.
But the movement's the same.
The techniques,
feints, the tendencies of each fighter, they remain the same. And here's the other factor that I think is notable, in that Colby hasn't really fought someone with the killer instinct of a Robbie Lawler. You know, Rafael Dos Anjos hasn't been a finisher lately. Well, unless you count, probably all his finishes. He did finish Kevin Lee. Damian Maia was never a killer in the same way Robbie is, where he just picks you up and slams you and throw bombs, and when you shoot a double on him, he sprawls your face on the ground.
Are you talking about the Askren fight?
I'm talking about the Askren fight. I'm talking about every fight where a wrestler tried to take him down and he just sprawled on him so hard.
Well, I mean, Colby
Colby is the favorite.
He could run it out. He's younger, so
Colby
he could
is
run
the
it out.
favorite.
Well, obviously, dude.
In the Vegas odds. Although, on verdict, Robbie Lawler is the very, very slight favorite with the multiplier. Very close. Almost equal. I have Colby winning by unanimous decision here. I think
Dude,
he's just gonna,
I don't think it's going to run that long.
I think he's going to lean him on the cage. I think he's going to wear Robbie down. I think he's going to manage his distance, keep his composure. That's one thing Colby's always been able to do. Stick to a game plan, figure out what works, and go out there and win the fight.
Wow, that is very, very slight. On Verdict MMA, Robbie Lawler is 1.97. Colby Covington is 2.03.
Exactly. Colby is the very, very slight underdog. On Verdict, I have Covington by decision. Let's take a look at the heat indicator. I think this is the safest pick of the night, if we're being totally honest here. So I'm only putting 100 XP on it because it's not that profitable of a decision. You're only going to make 500 by betting 100 XP by decision.
That's a very good point. Colby wouldn't take a fight that he thought he would lose.
Colby is hunting for that title shot. He wants that Cameron Usman fight. He wants that Tyron Woodley fight. I don't think he would have taken the fight against Masvidal. He wouldn't have taken the fight against Leon Edwards. Wouldn't have fought Darren Till. I don't think he would have fought Pettis.
Darren Till.
Colby picked Lawler for a reason. He knew that this was a fight he could take and win. And I think that's what we'll see on Saturday afternoon.
He's current champ. So, how does that interim system work?
Colby got stripped. He's no longer the interim champ. And you know what?
That's what I thought.
There is no set system. The UFC decides what they want with their interim champions.
Weird. It's so weird.
Sometimes they just make an interim title fight because there's no title fights on the card and they need to sell the pay-per-view.
Yeah. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it is really annoying. But comment your picks down below. What you think. Do you agree?
Do you disagree?
Will
Let
you
us
be
know.
using the Verdict MMA app? We totally endorse you download
100%.
this wonderful app. We're not sponsored, but
we're trying.
Well, hey, we'll see. But yeah.
I mean, it really is a great app.
Let us know what you think. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. See ya.
See ya.